Hi guys, I am back with a weekly chat, and if you hear any noise, that is Coco and Chanel. They're digging right now on something they're not supposed to be digging on, but they're just doing this. Anyway, they have been a mess since last night. The barking has been almost non-stop, except when they were sleeping. So right now they are starting to calm down a little bit, but I'm hoping they get comfortable and just kind of go to sleep. Then I'll end up waking them up to show you guys. So anyway, I hope you guys have all had a great week. I have had a wonderful week myself. On Monday, I went to Radnor Lake and I did vlog it. So I took this camera that I'm filming on right now, and then I took my Canon I always get the name mixed up, the G7X or GX7. I always get those mixed up and I apologize for that. I do think it's the G7X, but anyway, I vlogged on that one and took photos on this one, and I think the vlog is probably one of my better vlogs. Now, it's not going to win any awards whatsoever. It's not that good, but I do think I was extra careful with it, and I felt like that I paid more attention to how I was moving the camera, and sometimes I just laid the camera on a stationary object and just took some footage of that. Then after I did that, it was beautiful weather out there. It was a bit chilly to start off with, but beautiful out there. So after that, I went to the zoo, and I was a little bit disappointed at the zoo, which you'll probably be able to tell in that video if you choose to watch it. And the reason why I was disappointed, they didn't have all the animals out that I wanted to see. So anyway, that's going up Friday if all goes according to plan. And I did go back. I've already went back and looked at the photography, or the photographs. So my goal is to eventually shoot everything in manual and have the most beautiful looking photos. Now, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so not everybody would like them, but I am so rusty on my photography. So rusty. So I started taking stuff in manual, and within the viewfinder of the camera, there's this little dial. And you kind of want to hit just right in the middle of that dial with your settings. And hopefully if you get that right, your photograph will be perfectly exposed. It'll be just like what you want it to be. But I came home. Well, let me back up. I forgot to bring it in here with me, but I will show. I've got another lens for this camera. Let me just go get it. Let me just go get it. You know what? I can get up and move around because this thing is autofocus and I don't have to stop it and refocus. I was all comfortable, but I wanted you guys to see this lens. So I am going to show it again in my, let me see what I'm calling it, my pre-trip collective haul. And I'm going to get my vlogging camera to show you guys this camera if you want to see that. The camera came with two lenses, and this is the telephoto lens. It's goes from 55 to 250 millimeters, and I am not in love with this lens at all. I'm having a lot of trouble getting it to autofocus on what I want it to focus on. And so I've got to work more with it. It may be one of the best lenses, but I am just having issues with it right now. And when I got home from my excursions on Monday, I, stuck the SD card in the computer, and I pulled up the photos and I saw them, and I was disappointed in probably 98% of them for two different reasons, mostly. The shot itself would have been fine. The composition, I was happy with mostly all the composition, but it was either this lens not focusing, or I was completely over or underexposed. I was just doing horrible at the manual photography. I just saw my neighbor's dog from across the street. He's taking his walk by himself. So if Coco and Chanel see him, I don't even know where they are right now. They've moved off the couch where they were digging. If they see him, they're going to go crazy, just warning you guys. So I am so rusty on that, but I was talking to someone who she's a photographer, and she uses Lightroom. And so I started watching some videos on Lightroom, and one of the guys that I watch on YouTube every so often is Fun for Louis Cole, and he was doing a Lightroom tutorial and showing how to use it. Then I watched something else, and it really made me think that even if you are shooting in manual and your exposure is just not where you need it to be, you can just correct that in Lightroom. I do feel it's a tiny bit cheating, because when I took classes and I learned how to use a camera, the goal was to get your photo perfect, and that's what you train to do. So you wanted to get that photo, the perfect photo from within the camera, and that way when you printed it or had it printed, it would just be perfect. So also when I was taking photography classes, I was using film, I wasn't using digital. And there was also a lot of manipulation that could be done in the photography labs. I took a couple of black and white photography labs and a couple of color labs, so there's still a lot of manipulation that can be done, but that was just more manual, hands-on, as opposed to just sitting in front of a computer. It was so much fun to do. I don't even know what different colleges and universities teach in the photography world anymore. The standards of shutter speed, aperture, ISO, those are all the same, but it's more in the processing of the photos that are so different nowadays. Anyway, I took the camera back out this morning, back to Radnor Lake, and I'm just going to tell you that I left it on auto. You know, for the whole thing, autofocus. I did try to switch to manual. There was a couple of issues why well, mainly just one, I guess you could say. When I got there, the park opens up at 6. Let me pick Chanel up. Come here. She wanted to be picked up, didn't you? Yes, you did. So let me get her to settle down in my lap. The park opens at 6, and so my goal was to get there kind of right after it opened, and the sun was rising. Coco! Coco! Get out from under there. She's under the couch digging. She's not supposed to do that. Coco, come here. Come here, Cokie. Come here. I sort of forgot what I was on, the point that I was on. Manual and autofocus. I mean, not focus, but shooting in manual or shooting in auto. So I got there. I was planning on getting there right after the park opened this morning, and I was a little bit later than that. I got there, I was wanting to get there like at 6:15. I got there about 6:45, so I was about 30 minutes off. And the sun was supposed to have, I think they said the sun was rising at 6:15-ish, somewhere around in there. And that's why I wanted to get there right as the sun was rising over the lake. Well, by the time I got there, it was pretty high up in the sky, and it was so bright, almost sounding so southern right there, so bright, so bright that I couldn't see the little dial on the inside through the viewfinder to see what the settings were. Because the sun was, I was looking east at the sun as it was coming up over the lake, and it was beautiful out there, and I forgot my sunglasses today, so that didn't go as well, but I did see this bird. And when it comes to birds, I don't know a lot about them. I think birds are beautiful. I don't like it when they leave their waste products on my car, but I do think most birds are beautiful, not all of them. I don't know what this bird was. Anybody that's a bird expert, I'm going to put the photo of the bird at the end of this video. It turned out beautiful, and I was using this lens, so I did get a beautiful photo using that lens, and then it messed me up on another bird. So that I was trying to take a photo of a goose, which I can recognize a goose, and ducks. It did work on the goose and the ducks, but, I mean, excuse me, on the ducks, and this other bird didn't work so well on the goose. So I also saw 5 deer today. There was 3 deer in the park, and then I saw 2 in somebody's yard as I was driving on my way there. And so it was just a beautiful day, very cold this morning. It was about 36 degrees when I left, and when I got back, when I arrived, it was about 36 degrees, and when I left, it was about 40 degrees. So I've had the best week, or at least 2 days out of this week have been best. I love going to Radnor Lake and just enjoying myself out there. And I've been meeting, since Monday and today, I've been meeting a lot of different nature photographers, and I started talking to them, and a couple that it was a man and his wife, and he was the photographer. They said they're there every Saturday when they try to get there as soon as they open. So I don't know if I'm going to make it every Saturday, because Saturday is my filming day, but I don't film that early in the morning anyway. Or I'm going to try to go Monday. Just it kind of depends on the weather. I'm a fair weathered person, so if it is raining, I'm probably not going to go out there. I saw another interesting guy today. He had a camera. I don't know what he was taking a photo of. I'll probably use the word shoot a lot, and I'm talking about photography. I don't know what he was shooting, but he had this camouflage like blanket like thing. It looked like somebody was hunting that would have used that, and I got a photo of him wearing that thing, and so I'm going to insert whatever photos I got that I want to insert. I'll do it at the end of the video if you want to stick around and watch those. So I have just had a wonderful week, and let's see, I've got some notes to talk about my I'm trying to reach behind me, my 2018 goal check-in. I didn't do as many notes as I did for the first check-in, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Let's see, got that. No eBay sales this week. I was disappointed in that, so hopefully this week I'm going to have some sales. I'm also planning on filming several videos today. It's a beautiful day, and when the weather is this good, I want to be able to film, because the last 3 Saturdays before this one, so I guess you could say 4 Saturdays ago, and then, well, however you want to say it, it has been raining every Saturday, and today is the first nice Saturday we've had in such a long time that I'm going to try to film as many videos as I can today. I may film some more tomorrow, because Sunday is supposed to, after I get home from church, Sunday is supposed to be beautiful as well, and when I use natural lighting, and so when it's not dark and gloomy and gray outside, I want to get as many videos as I can filmed. So that's the plan. Looking around, let's see, I think I'm going to go ahead and share. I got numbers for you as far as like inches and weight loss, and so I'm going to go ahead and talk about a little my issues with February before I share the numbers with you. So right after I did the video with the one in January, where I talked about how much weight I had lost for January, how many inches I had lost, I was a bit on a high from that, but I don't know if you want to say complacent, or I just sabotaged myself, because that's what I did. I felt like I didn't have to stick to the program, even though I knew I had to, but I didn't. So I basically stopped intermittent fasting and was eating, sorry, I had a hair in my mouth, was eating and at times that I should not have been eating with the intermittent fasting, and that went on for let me see, let me look at my calendar. I know it was 2 weeks, but it may have been 2.5 weeks. Yes, that went on for 2.5 weeks. So, like, the 1st of February was on a Thursday, so I think I stopped around the 1st of February with the intermittent fasting, or it may have been the next week after that. So I just kind of stopped that, and then last week I got on the scale, and I had gained weight last week, and I am not happy about that whatsoever. I gained, I want to say 2 to 3 pounds the first 2.5 weeks, maybe a little bit more, and was not happy about it whatsoever. And I will admit, I beat myself up figuratively, not literally, for you know, a day or so. And then I was like, you know what, just get right back on there, start the intermittent fasting again, start watching the carbs. Now, I do not do keto, but I do try to watch the carbs. So cut out the breads where you can cut them out, cut out the excess sweets and candy where they need to be cut out. And then I basically eat at least most of the week. The weekends is a little bit, you know, I kind of move the times around during the weekends, but basically I start eating at 5:30 in the morning, and my goal is to stop by 1:30, but I find myself usually stopping by noon. And then I will fast the rest of that time and then start eating at 5:30 the next morning, which I actually did that this morning. So I was up early because I knew I wanted to go out to the state park. And so I ate about 5:30 this morning. And so lunch is in the crock pot right now. It's completely carb free. And this is a keto meal. Even though I will admit I'm going to have a roll with it or two. But I'm doing what they call, it's either crock pot crack chicken or chicken crack. I don't remember what it is, but it is chicken breast, cream cheese, ranch dressing mix. The ranch mix, not the actual ranch dressing, in a bottle. It's in the packet, and if you like, you can add bacon. I usually don't care for bacon, so I'm not going to add that. So I'm going to have that for lunch. It's cooking right now. I smell it, and I'm like, I'm ready to eat lunch right now. So I may go ahead and eat lunch before I go film the rest of my videos because I'm getting hungry. Anyway, I did jump back on the intermittent fasting, and things are moving in the right direction. The weight is dropping. So I have lost for the month of, since I last took the measurements, I think I brought the wrong book with me. I needed my calendar. I took my January the 21st. I have lost 5.4 pounds since January 21st, but I realized that there was another week in there, so I think that it's actually a little bit less than that. I think it's around 4 pounds that I've lost from like February 1, because in that last week of January, I mean, it was like half a week, and then half of February, half of like the first week of February. That's the week I messed up, and I started gaining that week. So inches wise, I have lost it depends on how you look at it. There was a couple of areas I grew, I guess you could say, half an inch. I know there was one or two areas, but if I don't count the part that I expanded in, then I've lost 4 inches for the month of February, and a total of 17 inches total. So since I've started calculating, and let me see, last month I had lost 14.25 inches, and so now, counting the inches I've gained, I'm actually at 17 inches lost. So that was kind of my food situation. I messed up. I mean, really, I love intermittent fasting. I wish I hadn't stopped, because I wanted to take off 8 to 10 pounds in February, and it just did not happen. It was more like 4 pounds, and so as soon as I got back on intermittent fasting, the past 2 weeks, I lost everything that I gained, and then a little bit more. So that's where that kind of 5.4 pounds comes in, because I calculated the number at my lowest weight in January, and didn't recalculate the weight back in, if that makes sense. If anybody has a question about that, I'll try to answer it. So some of the other goals I did not meet at all. one of those was the reading goal. I did not read or finish reading any books, actual books. I started out, I got a library book and I started reading it. It was coming due at the library. I hadn't finished it. I renewed it. It came due again. And so I just decided to take it back. It wasn't that good. It wasn't really holding my attention and I just didn't pick up any other book to actually read. But I did finish 2 audiobooks. So I didn't have a goal set for audiobooks for the year, but I did have a goal set of reading 24 books. And so I'm already ahead. In January I was at 4 or 5 books. So I'm already ahead. So it's not like I'm behind, but I just didn't read anything, finish any books for the month of February. And savings goals, before I bought this camera and I was saving money for the camera. So I was at 90% of my first quarter's savings goal before I purchased the camera and before I did some shopping for my trip. So I was saving money for that, so I ended up using some of my savings. So basically before I went shopping, I was at 90%, and then I went shopping and I'm not at 90% anymore, but I was able to get some items that I had planned on purchasing. So that was that one. I didn't bring any other goals out with me, so that's all I can recall right now. I plan on doing better during the month of March, especially on the weight loss category. I almost hate to put a number out there because that's what I did in January. Completely missed the mark for February. But from the weight I am right now, I would love to at least lose 9 or 10 more pounds for the month of March. That would be my goal. So we shall see what that transpires, but I am keeping up with the intermittent fasting. I'm loving it. I do get a little bit hungry when I'm fasting, but I'm still loving it. I love just basically it's a lifestyle change. It's not a diet, and I just love it. So now I know that there's going to be times when I probably will get off of it. I'm thinking of my trip because of the nature of the whole cruise thing and eating in the evenings in the dining area. I might have to readjust when I eat and when I fast. I still plan on doing some fasting, but it probably won't be on the same schedule that I'm doing now. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and show you Coco and Chanel. This video is getting long. So here's Coco, and I think you saw Chanel earlier, didn't they? Yeah, they saw your sister earlier, and you were being bad because you were under the couch. Yes, you were. So there is Coco, and she is doing so well. Noisy. Both she and her sister, they started barking about 5:30 last evening and barked almost nonstop until 8:30. And then they wore themselves out and got really sleepy, didn't you? Yes, you did. You got so sleepy. Yes. And so they ended up getting tired and just basically just passed out. Not literally passed out, but you know what I mean. And they were out, and then this morning they got all wound up again, so they've been barking, but I think they're a little sleepy right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye, everybody.